For those that don't know, Allison George is the Wizard of Fun at her family's golf course in Iowa. Allison served on the NGCOA board from 2007 to 2019. Today, Allison focuses on revenue opportunities from your pro shop. And I know, Allison, you've had quite a roller coaster of a couple months with Mother Nature and a scary injury at your course. I know I'll let you get into that for a second, but I'm really glad to have you back and recovering quickly. And it's great to see you here at RevCon. Welcome.
I am very happy to be here. I must admit, a couple of weeks ago, I wasn't sure if I'd be doing this presentation or not. So the last couple of months have been a little rough. So, but we're forging on.
Exactly. Well, again, thanks so much for being here. I'll give you a second. It looks like your presentation's pulled up. Remind those folks at home, comment with your questions. We love to see what you had to say. We'll cover it with our Director of Education, Dave Barton, after each session today. So comment away. And Allison, the floor is yours. Welcome to RevCon.
All right. Super. Very excited to be here today. When I was, we did a practice run last week, and when they said, hey, high energy Allison, I thought, oh man, I think I might need to stand up for this presentation, because if that's my reputation, I wasn't sure if I could do it sitting down. So I must admit, I've never thought I would, be standing in my dining room, greeting all of my fellow golf operators, but very excited to be here. So what Taylor referenced is a couple of weeks ago, just so that for those of you who know me, I probably look just a little bit different than I normally do, particularly my smile is what everyone says that they miss. But a couple of weeks ago, I was out on the golf course, and we deliver lunches for fundraisers in order to avoid, the social gathering at the conclusion of the event. And so I was out delivering lunch, and as all of you know, we've had a lot of non-golfers who are coming out, and it's very exciting, but they also don't know all proper etiquette and those types of things. And unfortunately, I encountered a young group of teenage boys, and through no fault of their own, he had a drive of a lifetime, which I unfortunately took from about a 30, maybe 25-yard distance right to my cheekbone on my right side here. And so I shockingly broke my eye socket and cheekbone. And now I am like a cyborg. I'm filled with a bunch of metal plates. I do still have some paralysis in my face. So I tried to make myself look as normal as possible. But anyway, if you're like staring at me or going like, well, what in the world is wrong with that woman? That's what's going on. And I do want to extend my appreciation, because over the last 2 weeks, my house looks like a florist. I've had tons of phone calls and reach outs from fellow golf operators all throughout the country and even Canada, who have sent me well wishes. And I'm just so happy to be able to see you with 2 eyes today. So anyway, that's kind of the if you thought COVID was bad, just take my word for it. It can be worse. All right. So without further ado, we're going to talk about your pro shop. So I'm going to switch screens here over here. So let's begin with talking about the problem. So the problem that we all have as golf operators is that we are jacks of all trade and a master of none. We have retail space, we have a restaurant or snack bar, we have golf, we have a driving range, we have lessons, we have an event center, and we have weddings. And sometimes we have even more than that. I know we have miniature golf at our golf course. And what happens is that we tend to only really focus and be really good at one thing. And I think retail is really, really hard. So the thing most of us probably focus on is golf, and retail becomes really difficult. Now, back in the 90s, my family has owned the golf course for almost 50 years. And so in the 90s, it was pretty easy. Now, we're just a simple daily fee course. We have about 150-ish, maybe a little bit more members. And back in the 90s, we used to do, a little over 150,000 in our pro shop. I know I've spoken to golf operators before who, do far more than that. But at the time, that was a lot of money to us. And we sold tons of bags every year. We sold hundreds of shoes. We had an excellent trade-in, used club type of thing going on. And overall, just a fantastic, really almost easy to make money inside of the pro shop. And then the 90s hit, or the early 2000s, and we saw a decline. We started selling much fewer bags. We sold a lot less shoes. Our club sales just totally plummeted. And I would like to attribute this all to the fact that I live just outside of Des Moines, Iowa, and all of these types of stores started showing up. So we had Dick's Sporting Goods, Shields, we have Golf Galaxy, even Walmart and Target. And then, of course, the other thing that, made a big impression to us is when Titleist made the decision to no longer kind of be the pro shop only, and they also sell to everyone. So now, some of the small golf courses around Iowa, at least, they actually can buy their Titleist balls cheaper at Walmart than they could, buying them directly from Titleist. So it got really difficult. And so then in the 2010s, I kind of was like, you know what, forget it. If we can't make money in the pro shop, this is a retail space. I am going to embrace the fact that it's a retail space. I'm going to turn it into some sort of a gift shop. And so this is my sister-in-law, Teresa, and she's super talented. And so we turned it into kind of this shabby chic, gift shop. We sold a bunch of candles and tons of garden things, which actually sold really well. Guys really like to garden. And so we just had, it was a lot of fun. And the one thing that I noticed was when we started meeting with some of these retailers, we bought like Christmas ornaments that were, that were small that people could buy and hang on their Christmas trees and things like that. And what was crazy about it is that the markup was so much easier on these retail things as opposed to golf. Because, when we buy a sleeve of balls, like if I'm making 75 cents or $1, I'm excited about that. And, we would buy these Christmas ornaments, we would buy them for 75 cents, but the MSRP was like $5 or $6, and people gladly paid $5 or $6. So, that portion of it was really easy. We hired a picker and, had tons of like old, like garage, kind of like man cave type things that we sold inside the pro shop. But as time went on, this too, was just not as successful as we wanted it to be. And so in my office, I have this sign, and this sign says, "Trust your crazy ideas." And so this brings me to what we are doing now in the year 2020. So what we did, this right here is my current pro shop. It even looks worse now because all the drywall is gone. And we are completely getting rid of our pro shop. And we will be putting in 2 new simulators. We should be completely done by December 1st. And, one of the things that kind of led us to this is I served on a committee at the USGA, and there were a lot of millennials on that committee. And one of the questions that was constantly coming up was, why do I have to go into a pro shop? And all of the older people, in the committee were like, well, because that's what we always do. But the fact is that you don't need people to check in the pro shop. And I think this year of all years in the land of COVID, we certainly have realized that we can make some pretty crazy decisions that we once thought were nearly impossible. I'm going to cover just a couple of other crazy ideas that I did contemplate before going the simulator route in case it might make sense to you. So one thing is, we have nice retail space. We do have yoga that takes place right now at the golf course. And so they use one of our event spaces, but there was a time where I thought, man, maybe I should turn this into some sort of a yoga studio instead. Maybe I should contact a local physical therapist and see if maybe they rented to, rent my space, and maybe we could possibly even, make it be very golf centric around the therapy. I tried really hard. One of my former employees is an athletic trainer, and I tried really hard to get him to, start his own business and rent the pro shop from me, but he was a little scared to take that jump. I have a cousin who rents retail space. She has a paper supply store, and the rent for some of these small startups is astronomical. And so, I kind of contemplated, well, maybe I should see if there's, someone out there who's, got a lifelong dream of having like a small kind of retail space. And, we have a lot of foot traffic, and, maybe that would make a nice complement. And then I also have a friend who she owns a dance studio. And it's only used in the late afternoon after 3 o'clock. And so she turned her dance studio into like a WeWork space where she rents out the studio in the morning for, types of people who don't want to work from home necessarily. I don't know if you guys have kind of heard of this. It's really popular right now, but, so startup lawyers, startup graphic designers, those types of things who would kind of like to look a little more professional is, another option. So we contemplated all of those types of things. And then ultimately, I landed on go ahead and just kind of go for it and put in simulators. Now, I will tell you kind of a funny story. I should technically have my simulators done by now, but the week that we were supposed to, I just signed the loan. We were just getting ready to get started with our contractors. And 2 days after signing the loan is when our entire country shut down. And so I quickly called my banker and I said, thank you, but no thanks. I don't need that money right now. I'm gonna hold back on the reins a little bit. But some of the things that we were thinking about was, how do we make this so that's a 12-month business? And several of you, I've spoken out on Accelerate, letting you know I was kind of contemplating this. And I've talked to several of you, and you guys always would call me on a day that it was raining. And you would say, hey, Allison, my clubhouse right now is full of golfers, even though it's raining outside. You don't want to know why? Because they're all playing on the simulator. And so that just kind of got my brain thinking a little bit more. And then I am very interested in pursuing lessons year round. There's a little more tailored that we can do with lessons. And then obviously food and beverage is a huge thing. And then one of my final decisions is last year at Golf Business, I listened to Randy Anderson, who is going to be the speaker after me. And I listened to him, and I just love his energy. And I was kind of thinking, I'm like, you know what? I absolutely can do that. That looks like fun. And then I was at the PGA show and I toured a bunch of different simulators. And that was when I was sold on them. Now, I do need to put a caveat in here because this is huge for me, because I think I'm probably known for being the person who tries crazy things all the time. But I must admit, when I went to the first TechCon, I think it was like 5 years ago, and there was a simulator there, I thought, no way, no how, that is not going to happen. I think that's really silly. And it took me 5 years to come around, but I have. So that idea is to just think way outside the box. And how can you use that valuable retail space for something else that is more valuable? All right. So the next idea that I have is to embrace technology. And, some of you, likely are like, no way, I'm not going to run my pro shop. That's way too scary. So let's try another method of selling. And this is particularly evident during the times of COVID, when retail space, you can only have like one person in your clubhouse at a time. And, kind of got a little scary this spring. And, one of the things that we've always struggled with is, we hire college kids, 18-year-olds, and they just don't know a whole lot about what's in the pro shop. And, as general managers, pros, PGA pros and all that kind of stuff, we can't just be in there all the time explaining why you should use this ball over the other, or why lessons are important, or why this grip is better than this grip, or, the disadvantages of, this type of club over another one. And so I'm gonna offer you a suggestion of how you can be the best salesperson at your golf course. And that is to pick a physical product that you are going to feature each week on we'll call it a golf show in your pro shop. And you're going to load that physical product into your online store so that people can be able to purchase that product online. I have worked with a golf course who has done just this, and they had a fantastic response, and their pro shop has done better this year than it normally does. What you're going to do after that is you're going to feature that product in a live feed. Now, almost every social media now has a live feed. They have Facebook, you have YouTube, you have Instagram, All of those types of things all have live feeds, and you can actually do them all simultaneously if you just have like 3 phones or 3 iPads set up, so that you're just going live on all of those things. I think I even saw that LinkedIn is even going to be having a live feed. So let's just picture on every Wednesday night at 7 p.m., it's your golf show, and you're going to stand there and you are going to explain what is going on with that new set of Callaway clubs and why is this so much more valuable than the rest. And you're going to go in and you're going to become the expert, and you're going to offer something that that maybe if they buy by the end of the show, kind of almost like the home shopping network, where if they buy by the end of your show, there's some sort of discount. Maybe it's a comeback coupon or some sort of an upgrade. They get a free sleeve of balls or whatever it is. And then if they buy after the show, obviously they would just be getting the product. And this particular golf course that I've worked with, they would then have an hour period of time on Fridays that then you came and you picked up that product. So just imagine the possibilities of what you might be able to do if you are the main salesperson at your golf course. And think of the consistency and how you now become a complete expert, and you are establishing credibility in among your community. So if someone's tuning in and you're doing something consistently every Wednesday night, for instance, and you're selling that product all day on Thursday, just think about the possibilities and think about the upsales. Because now when you're talking about this new set of clubs or this new set of a new type of ball or whatever it is, they're always coming out with things 2 or 3 times a year. It's hard to keep up. But now just imagine if you are able to then establish yourself as that person, and then now you can, hey, this is what's for sale, but hey, if you want, you can come out and I'll teach you a lesson. Or what other kind of thing, come out and I would love to go play golf with you. Or maybe you can reference, hey, I was playing with a member the other day and I noticed he had this new Odyssey putter, and, this is the thing that he was doing. So you can just totally make yourself and your golf course be very credible and relatable, which is the key to marketing in this current age that we are in. All right. So that brings me to idea number 3. And I've got quite a few little things I want to cover with some of these things. And then hopefully we'll have time at the end, because I'm going to train you on a couple of shortcuts that I have learned over the years. So I've done lots of presentations about the importance of selling things online. So I hope I don't sound like a brokered record, but it is so important that you are moving yourself online. And I would think that after this year, you understand just how important it is to make those types of things available. And so when I'm talking about moving your shop online, I am not talking about putting hats and shirts and balls and clubs and all of those types of difficult things to sell online. It's really hard to compete with Amazon. You're just never going to be Amazon. But what you are is you are a golf course. And so the types of things that I'm suggesting is that you're doing more than gift cards. Then you can also load and sync up your online store with your social media. If you haven't done this, it's really important, and it's a very easy marketing. I'm going to show you how to do that. You can also, there's a couple of companies out there that allow you to drop ship. So you don't actually have the product on site, but you are the one who is making revenue, and then they're shipping it to your customer. And then you should also be featuring your online products. So yesterday we listened to a great presentation from Chris, and Chris was talking about having those social media content where you're having something, maybe once a week and pre-scheduling that out. Well, when you're sitting there trying to think of what in the world do I want to put on social media, if you just featured an online product once a week and then tagged it, that would be a really easy thing to include in your social media. All right, so what do I mean by more than gift cards? So on my website, I sell everything under the sun, and I've tried all sorts of weird things. And most of it was created, it's probably been about 10 years ago now, when, it was just a really hard time. We were getting ready to pay property tax in the spring, and we'd had a really long, horrible winter. And I was kind of scared, honestly, that we weren't going to have enough money to pay our bills. And so that's when I was like, you know what, I'm going to try really hard, and I'm going to sell a loaded foursome just for like 3 days. And call it like a spring break special and see if I can get enough money, generated. And it took off extremely well. And I've been doing it ever since. And we do now a little over $100,000 in our online store. So I highly, highly, highly recommend that you think way outside the box of what are the types of things that you want people to buy and know about your business in your online store. So this particular thing is a voucher. We have a miniature golf course. And so we do tons of birthday parties where they have a cake and they have pizza and all that kind of fun stuff. We haven't done a ton of them this year because COVID's made everything weird, but there have been years where, we've done upwards of 200 birthday parties before. We also sell what we call a beer belly pass. So this is a 6-pack of beer with a drink. I like to be a little quirky, so this may not work for everyone, but my golfers get a kick out of it. We also sell punch cards, and I call it the certificate of being awesome, because this is a big thing that we sell around Christmas. And so the person is allowed to then print up this certificate, which I just think is kind of a fun gift to be able to present. And then when they come to the golf course, we actually give them the punch card to use. The other thing that I would suggest is yesterday, I don't remember who was speaking, but they were talking about the importance of including fundraisers and doing cool and good charitable things. And so one of the things that we did this spring is, I feel so sorry for some of these small businesses, particularly the bars and the restaurants, and how unbelievably hard it is for them to be able to navigate through these really hard times. Bowling alleys are also another one that's just really struggling. And so I thought, well, what if I could somehow help them by offering a gift certificate that was then included with my golf? So we partnered with a local restaurant, and we sold vouchers where they got golf from us and a gift card to that restaurant. And then because of our miniature golf, we also partnered with a local ice cream shop where they got miniature golf as well as ice cream. So I'm just giving you these examples, be thinking about, maybe it's not even necessarily something that is just you. What can you do to help your community and be able to purchase those types of products to be able to help them? All right, so now I'm going to go in and explain a little bit of how you connect your virtual online store with Facebook. And when you connect it inside of Facebook, then it's also connected inside of Instagram. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to this URL. It's business.facebook.com/commerce_manager. So if you can see it there in the top, maybe when I come back through, I'll put that in the comments, but that's where you go. And you're going to set up your shop. So you'll click on get started. And then if you are using Shopify and WooCommerce, I'm trying to think of if there's any others, but there's actually an automatic sync that can happen with a handful of the online store businesses out there. But if you don't use those, then you can also manually add all of those products to your online store. And so that's what this looks like. And then you can see here that these are all the products that I am offering inside of my online store. And then I've also categorized them just to make it be easy for people to navigate. And so what's funny is Facebook's going through a lot of changes right now. I'm sure you've noticed, there's a lot of things that look very, very different in the last couple of weeks even. And so I used to call them season passes because that's what we call our memberships. But passes is like a strange rule violation because of, I guess how other people use pass. Anyway, so you have to kind of, play with them a little bit and go through to make sure you're using the right wordage and those types of things. So anyway, we've got, that's how you get all of your products in your online store. The next option is for you to drop ship. Okay. So I don't know if you guys are taking advantage of it or not. You're crazy if you are not, but a lot of the retailers right now are actually helping. So they've got a bunch of loyalty programs themselves. So I know Titleist and Callaway and Bridgestone all have some loyalty programs that they do in the spring, and it's like a golf ball personalization, and then they will drop ship them to the customer. So make sure you're asking your rep about that. It's, you know, it's a very easy thing to do, and, you know, honestly kind of a no-brainer, because you don't have to, nothing ever has to actually come to the clubhouse. The other company that actually is designed for drop shipping, this is called Vanguard. I work with a golf course out east who uses this, and they just have kind of, it's almost like a white label where it looks like it's the golf course's online shop, but it actually is not. But it allows them to sell a lot of almost kind of upscale products, and they can pick and choose what types of things they want to offer, but there's shirts and hats and jackets and clubs and all kinds of different things. And so your golfer goes and it's on your website. So, you know, your golfer, it looks like it's your store, but the order actually goes to Vanguard, who then ships it out to your consumer. So another really super easy way to replace some of that pro shop revenue. So the next thing that, and kind of final thing that I want to visit with you about is that once you have all of your products inside of that online store, you can then go in and tag them. So this is really important for you to do, especially with Cyber Monday and Black Friday coming up, because now this is just kind of an example post that I put up. But if I am going to feature that product, I can also tag them. Tag the product, and then what happens is that it's tagged, and the person, when they're on your social media, both Instagram as well as Facebook, they can actually buy the product right there, but it shows up to you as though it was an online purchase. So it's just so easy. It's a simple thing to accomplish, and you just need to get it done, especially before Black Friday. And then the other thing is that then you can have your shop then is part of where people can browse inside your shop. And you can see here, this is what the shop looks like. And I was telling you that this is where we have the categories just to kind of help people navigate. The other thing you can do is, pick, I've worked with a lot of golf courses this year that, they hadn't updated their website in years, which was a big problem when you encountered COVID. And so if you are, kind of lined up and prepared, you can also feature your online products and as a banner, rotating banner in your homepage, or maybe on your Tea Time page, something that, gets a lot of traffic. So this is another example that I've used over the years of a website banner that then when they click on that banner, it goes directly to that online product. Another thing you can do is you can, just a second here. I didn't plug in my battery. I was getting aggressive. All right, so this here is another thing you can do. This is an Instagram post, but this is what I was explaining to you, that you can go on ahead and feature people in that, and then feature that product. So the left one there is an actual post, and then the right one there is an Instagram story. And I want to show you this trick that I have taught my team over the years. I've tried to get everything as easy as possible. Before I do, I'm going to show you that trick. I'm going to kind of move here to my slide. And so if you want to contact me, go ahead, send me an email if you have any questions. If you want to see a super gory picture of me in the ER, send me an email. It's I kind of look like I'm wearing a Halloween mask, but anyway, send me some questions. I'm happy to help. I absolutely love helping the golf industry, so my door is always open. All right, so I'm going to hop in here quick, and I'm going to show you this little trick that I have learned. Okay, so gonna come over here. All right, so I use Canva, which is my favorite thing in the world. I love Canva. I'm in it every single day. So I'm going to use an example here of this was the gift certificate that I made for when we partnered with that local restaurant. And now I'm going to come up here to the left and I'm going to resize and I'm going to choose Instagram story. Okay. So now that's going to open up a new tab and it's going to take what was the gift certificate and it's going to resize it into an Instagram story. Now, this doesn't look totally awesome. Okay. So I'm going to play with it just a little bit. So I'm going to bring this up here. I'm going to make that a little bit bigger. I'm going to make the restaurant a little bit bigger and I'm going to make my logo a little bit bigger so it doesn't look weird. I'm going to bring this down here, make this a little bit bigger, and I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. Okay, so we're not going for perfection here. It's hard for me to say that, but okay, there we go. All right, so now to me, that looks a lot better for a story, okay? And when you're building out an Instagram story, the key is to have it kind of build up into something. So what you want to do is up here, you want to duplicate. I'm going to duplicate this 3 times, okay? And so you have these pages, just a second here. So I'm going to add a page and I'm going to copy that. Let's see here. Sorry that I'm having to get in close. I hope I don't scare anyone. Okay. Okay, so this here, I'm going to duplicate. Okay. And I'm going to duplicate that. Okay. And then I need to delete this one. Sorry. Okay. So now I have 3 different pages that I have created. Okay. And so the final image of my Instagram story is going to be what I have here. And so all I'm going to do is I'm going to remove a few things from the beginning. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to remove this. I'm going to just delete this. I'm going to delete this. I'm going to delete this. And I'm going to delete this. Okay. And then, and I need to delete the filler images as well. And then the second one, I'm going to delete this image. And I'm going to delete this image. And so now when I have my Instagram story, it will play because stories that are only 1 picture are really boring. So now I can load this up. And so here is my first one. Here is my second one. And then it takes me to this. And then I would probably put an arrow on this and then link this one to that product that I have created earlier, what I demonstrated earlier. All right, so that's kind of the end. I'm going to go ahead and hop over and see if there's any questions.
Hi, Allison.
Yes. Hey, how are you doing?
We're doing great. Well, thank you. And I'll tell you, after the presentation, I mean, you can certainly see them over there. I'm going to feed you some questions. There's some really good ones. And there's also, and rightfully so, a lot of tremendous well wishes for you. So we're so thankful that you're okay. And we're glad you're with us. We really appreciate you taking that extra step. I kind of feel like we should have had some walk-up music for you, like from the theme from Rudy or something like that, to kind of bring you on the stage.
Right. Some rocky music or something.
No, but this is really just fantastic and a great way for us to start the day. So I've got a couple good ones here I'm going to get to, and I'm going to pop them up on the screen for you.
Okay, I'm going to grab my charger really quick. I think I'm going to okay, but I'll be listening. I'm going to grab my charger.
Yeah, we've got plenty of time. All right. We hear you working.
Yes. I'll have to post a picture of my bizarre platform production because I have my computer propped up on picnic baskets and it's all crazy.
Well, I'm curious how many people looked at their computer when they saw that low battery light. I did. I looked at my computer. But so here's the first question. You can read that. What are you thinking regarding how to allocate time in the simulators for instruction and club fitting revenue versus time for F&B drivers like gaming, entertainment that actually extend those operating hours into the evening?
Yeah, so that's one of the things I'm actually most excited about. First of all, it's no longer me. We've hired a pro this last year. Plus, I have a fantastic staff. So, and I have one staff member in particular who he actually wants the late hours. So we are planning to be open until like 11 p.m. is what our plan is for that. And then as far as like hours, I'll have to do another presentation maybe at the Golf Business, or maybe Randy will be a better person to answer all of this, but we will be putting things in an hour increment. And then for lessons, lessons will still be an hour, but and then like a foursome, if you're playing and not really putting a whole lot, it might take, and we went and kind of practiced around. And so our recommendation for the group will be 2 hours, but we're going to have everybody blocked off in hour increments is how we're going to do it.
Yeah, so kind of a follow-up question there. You may not have gone too far down this. What are you able to share thinking about as far as, some of your pricing strategies for the different sort of things you're offering?
Yeah, so we are planning on charging $40 an hour. And what I'm getting ready to do just to kind of get ourselves up and going is I'm going to be giving a 6-month free membership away because I want to build my database. So like I said, we're planning to be open on December 1st, and I'm going to have a bunch of winter leagues that I want to start right away in December. And so in order to do that, I have a landing page where it's going to be a giveaway where sign up here to win the first 6 months of free simulator use. I know that's a super generous offer, but what I really want is I want people who are excited and in a database for them to come, to my facility. So that's what we're going to be, doing to try and, kind of get everybody excited and signed up for those winter simulators.
Great. Kind of another follow-up, regarding the simulators that you're getting, besides offering golf, what kind of games are you keying on? I know you've heard Randy present. He's talking later today about some of the stuff he does in Maine because of what's popular up there regionally for him. What are you thinking?
Yeah, so this was really, really hard for me because when I was doing my original plan, I was going to go big or go home, and I was going to have 2 golf specific simulators and then 2 gaming that had like other options. Cause there's a few companies out there that have super fun things. Like there's one that has dodgeball, zombie dodgeball, which I played at the PGA show. And I was like, this is fun. And then I think it also does like baseball and a bunch of other things. So right now, what I was really sold on is I'm going to try really hard to kind of create the Topgolf experience. And so we actually went with more of a golf-specific simulator at first because they have the hydraulic automatic tee pop-up, which, if you know me at all, I love technology. And I was like, yeah, I kind of need that. So right now, the plan is to start with 2, and then hopefully it goes fantastically, and I'll put in 2 more next year that have more of that gaming feature and all that kind of stuff.
Well, great. Well, obviously a lot of things going on, and as we all well know, you've got to get the word out. So with all these crazy new ideas you're doing and everything that you're working on, how are you communicating these out to your customers? Email, social, passively. What's working for you as far as getting the word out? Yeah,
so we have a big banner we just installed, coming soon, that it's going to be coming out in front of the clubhouse. And then, one of the things that, has been a huge blessing for COVID is that, we've added almost 4,000 names to our database this year. So, I'm weird when it comes to harvesting data. I'm just very, very focused on it. And so that's kind of what we're doing. And we're going to start, teasing. And like I said, the big thing is that giveaway is what we're doing to, try and make sure that these are people who are very specific to all of that. So.
Excellent. Well, we've definitely got time for another question here. So, as you were flashing your presentation up there are a lot of different technologies that look like they were involved in different platforms that you're using. But do you have a primary, online store that kind of works with your point of sale system that feeds into Facebook and these other things? Or how are you navigating the store itself and the different avenues that you're using to put different items up?
Yeah. So, I have always been, I don't know. I'm always trying to find like the perfect type of technology. So I personally, I actually build my own website. I'm really weird because back in the 90s, I taught myself HTML. I know this is not normal, but anyway, so I actually, it's a WordPress website that I use, and then I use WooCommerce as my main shopping feature. And then I use what's called a PDF voucher for all of my download sales. And then I've done a lot of things of like how to, it sounds really awful when I'm actually saying what I do, but I've got it where it's pretty streamlined. Because all of our online sales then show up on a spreadsheet that the staff, kind of tracks all of that.
Excellent. Well, Allison, I'll tell you, we got one more comment here, and again, it's really a thank you from all of us at the staff for showing up, and fantastic presentation. And Taylor's going to pop back on here in a second. And you have any last parting comments you'd like to share with us?
My words of advice is if you don't have a waiver in place for non-golfers or people who are out taking pictures or something like that, getting hit with a golf ball is a real thing and can cause like serious damage. So if you don't have a waiver, please send me an email. I'll share you mine. That was the first thing I thought of, is like, I am so glad that if someone was going to have their eye shattered with a golf ball, I'm so glad it was me and not, one of my customers or staff members. So, golf can be dangerous, and we need to be taking those precautions to keep people safe, especially when we have so many, non-golfers out on our courses right now.
Well, that's great. Well, Taylor's going to pop on. There he is, magically giving me the hook and telling me to get out of the way. Allison, thank you very much. Taylor, take it away.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Allison.